10 years ago, there was an elderly laywoman at the Wufeng Mission Center. She had been over 70 years old. People called her Sister Azhi. She was the most faithful and devout disciple of the Three Jewels. One day, Azhi told me, her grandson was 9 years old and went on an outing somewhere a few days ago. He was very happy when setting out in the morning, but when he came back in the afternoon, he didn't feel well. He didn't eat dinner and just fell asleep in bed. The child originally slept with his grandmother. After all, the elder had more experience. Seeing his grandson coming home from outside, falling down and couldn't wake up, she felt uneasy and couldn't fall asleep. She stayed by his grandson's side and often touched his face to check whether he was hot or cold. At about 2 o'clock in the morning, she felt that her grandson was starting to have a high fever, so she recited a glass of Great Compassion mantra water and asked her grandson to get up and give it to him to drink. He drank a glass of Great Compassion water and said, "Grandma, I was outside today. After eating under a tree and playing for a while, I felt very uncomfortable. Then a child came home with me, told me that he was also 9 years old. He fell to his death in that place last year, and he is also wearing student suits now. He said he is very lonely and wants me to keep him company. Grandma, he is still standing in front of the bed and wants me to play with him." At this time, Azhi couldn't help but tremble when she heard what her grandson's words, and her pores stood up. However, she had to muster the courage and say, "My family has no grudges against you. If there are any grudges, the grudges should be resolved but not settled. I will recite the rebirth mantra and give the merit to you so that you can be uplifted and free from suffering. You should pay attention and listen." Then Azhi recited the mantra for 3 cascades of rosary without interruption, more than 300 times, and then recited Amitabha's holy name for thousands of times. The grandson shouted again, "Grandma! When you were reciting the rebirth mantra, he walked out of the door and waved to me with his hand, calling me to go out. When you were reciting Amitabha Buddha, he disappeared." Azhi said, "I poured another glass of water for the child to cheer him up. Then he got up and said he needed to pee. He was still frightened at this time, staring fiercely at the door. At that time, he was so afraid that he hugged my thighs with both hands. When he got to the toilet, he dared not close the door and asked me to stand in the door. After pee, he returned to the room, sweated again, and the fever subsided. After a long sleep, he was still alive and well in the morning." She added, "I am very grateful to you, because you came to teach us to recite Amitabha, so I tell you this." I asked her, "Why didn't you wake up your son and daughter-in-law when the child had serious fever and was most haunted?" Azhi replied, "Because they were sleeping upstairs. The grievances and karma caused from outside are entangled, which could not be solved by those who do not believe in Buddhism. It was useless to call them, so I did not call." Since Azhi had heard about the Pure Land Dharma in her later years, she was in good spirits, had deep roots of kindness, and had great wisdom. Her heart never left Buddha, and Buddha never left her heart. I heard recently that layperson Ashin said, 4 years ago, Sister Azhi has been reborn in the West.